How are you? Good to see you.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Village of Carpentersville Board meeting together tonight, May 1st, 2018, at 7 o'clock. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Humper.
Here.
Trustee Lawrence.
Here.
Trustee O'Sullivan.
Here.
Trustee Rayberg. Trustee Frost.
Here.
And Trustee Vela.
Here.
And President Skillman.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, next item, proclamations, awards, anything
None
tonight?
tonight.
Nothing tonight. No appointments, commissions,
None of those
and
either.
then we go right to public comment.
We do have two. The first is Vicki Winter.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time. The reason for my visit tonight is I have contacted Trustee Lawrence. We're all working to try and beautify and better the village of Carpentersville. I've been a resident for over 40 years. Went to school here. I call it my home. I take pride in my home. We have residents that are not taking pride in their homes. They are abusing our ordinances and destroying their property because they believe it's their property. They can do what they will. However, it's bringing our houses, our value down, and bringing our beautification process to a halt in our neighborhoods. We're trying to bring businesses in here. We're trying to bring new residents. But when they want to come in to take a look around our neighborhoods, it's going to be off-putting to see houses and yards that are being destroyed. I did give Trustee Lawrence some pictures just on my block alone of 3 houses that one gentleman is widening his driveway slowly but surely because he keeps parking on the grass, parking on the grass, parking on the grass because he's renting out rooms. And they've got several cars. And so they, instead of wanting to move cars around to get a car out, they're driving across the grass. Another one, there's a grassy front yard. If you can see the pale imprints of tire tracks, it's because they had a car parked across the apron, and instead of moving the car off the apron, he backed it up slightly onto the grass to the right, then drove completely across the grass to the other driveway, causing divots in his front grass. If that continues, we're going to have ruts in that grass. That's not going to be a pretty sight. Then you have others, we're losing money with the village because others are beautifying their homes but not following proper procedures, not getting the permits that we're supposed to. So the village is losing money as well. So not only are we losing money because business may not want to come here, residents may not want to come here, but the village itself is not getting the money due them because people are trying to do it on the weekend, trying not to have to take a permit and follow the process. I just wanted to bring it to your attention to try and help pinpoint some locations. I thank you for your time, and I hope that this helps try and help with code enforcement to help them try and pinpoint some of our problems and issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It definitely helps us. Thank you. We see the pictures up here right now, so thank you very much.
That just shows your pride too, so thank you.
And we do have one other, Michael Williams.
No, it's good.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Skillman,
Yes, sir.
are you related to John Skillman Sr.?
Oh, yeah.
Your father and I knew each other well. I respected your father, even though I was a rambunctious. I gave him a lot of stuff. But he was a steadfast gentleman. He was a good officer.
Thank you.
Just ran into him about a month or so ago in a Walmart. Anyway, I was surprised he was still alive.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I mean, consider my age, and he was an officer when I was a terror.
Yes.
Anyway, I have a question. I had a couple officers over at my house tonight at my request. I walk my dog west of where I live on Elm Avenue. I walk my dog west, and I can't remember the name of the development, but they have a pond. And people use the pond, they walk their dogs, whatever. But I see men there, like I saw tonight, 4 men, big guys, fishing in that little pond. This gives me some concern. People go there with their kids, could step in hooks, lures, whatever. I mean, the biggest fish they're drawing out of there is about 4 inches long. It's ridiculous. Tonight I went there and they showed me just how stupid people can be. They're casting their line right into a gathering of ducks that are in the water. I go, what are you doing? You hook one of these ducks, then what? Well, I'll take the hook out. I said, no, if you hook a duck, you're going to kill it. I said, then what? I said, then you're going to get arrested. It is not sure. These officers told me that came to my house tonight about this problem. And I'd like to know this. Does the village pay for any kind of maintenance whatsoever on that pond area?
Actually, the residents do. The residents pay for it.
They do. The residents do pay for it. There's a
What residents?
The
an
Newport
SSA,
Cove residents
special service area.
pay for that upkeep of the pond.
So they pay out of their own pocket in
Out of
Newport?
our
No, they
tax
their
bill.
tax bill.
SSA?
Pardon me?
It's on their tax bill.
But it's not on our tax bill.
No, it's just on theirs. Yeah.
Um,
And there's actually some limitations on what we can and can't do with that covenant. Bob, we ran into this about, 7 years ago? We had a situation, there was a fence that was down. I don't know if you see Newport Cove has a fence along Huntley Road. The fence was down, so who was responsible for it? So we had to go through that process.
There are at least 2 signs that say this pond is for no recreational use. So I asked this one guy, he says, are you a commercial fisherman? Because you're in the wrong area. And he said, well, no. I said, well, are you starving? You don't have any money to eat? And come to my house. He goes, no. And I said, well, then what would you call this? He said, sport. I said, is not sport recreational? And he just sort of looked at me and, whoops, busted, right? So he didn't know what to say. So I just left it at that. I said, one of these days, a kid is going to step on these hooks that you can possibly leave it. Like when I did, when I was a fisherman, when I was a young guy, I fished, not a lot, but often. And then inevitably, you are going to drop hooks, lures, whatever. Somebody's going to step on them, like a little kid. And then what? So
those people fishing there are not residents also.
probably
Just
not.
so your information, I know that they're not, so.
Probably not. I mean, this happened several times
I
a
don't know
week.
what we can do
This
about
last year. I don't know how it's going to work out this year, but to fish in a little pond like that, fish can only get to be so big.
Well, and they're considering all the chemicals in that pond with people putting fertilizer down their lawn, that's where it's running. Those fish
State,
might not be that good, so.
There is a little bitty creek that feeds that pond. It's interesting to know.
We have the SSA rules. We
Yes.
found those. We could take a look at them to see if there's anything in there that gives us leverage.
okay.
Sounds like that water should go somewhere else. Poison. By fertilizer, I mean, where's it going to go? We're going to keep on feeding our nature poison water?
It runs off into the,
Yeah, there's a whole, it goes from pond to pond to pond and
Yeah, it
before it
goes
gets
to
to the
Dunn-
Fox or Kishwaukee, considering on the west side.
So then I guess I have no claim in raising hell. I like to raise hell when there's a need.
all right,
Right, Mr. Humper?
well, thank you.
Used to be a few years back, they see me come through and they go, oh, God.
Don't forget your phone, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Okay, next item. Next item, consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on those items unless the trustee so requests. In which the event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered normal sequence on the agenda.
I'll motion to pass the consent agenda if there's no one pulling anything off to discuss separately.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee O'Sullivan,
Yes.
Trustee Frost,
Yes.
Trustee Vela,
Yes.
Trustee Humper,
Yes.
and Trustee Lawrence.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. All right, next item, reports of the manager and staff.
Mr. President, Board of Trustees, we have Ed Sadlowski here tonight who's going to give you a briefing on the status of Huntley 31 construction project as well as Huntley Road. So with that, thank you, Ed.
Good evening. I thought this day would never come, but we had two projects go out for bid through the state, Illinois 31 in Huntley and Huntley Road. Since they both have a component of Fed funding, the state is kind of like the main person that's going to, they bid it, award it, and then the contract's actually with the state, and then we have an agreement with the state for the contractual dollar amounts for that and the work for that. So Illinois 31 Huntley, both were opened on Springfield on Friday. The engineer's estimate for that one was $10.8 million. The bid came in from Plody at $9.63. So the village portion, we have about 18% that we're obligated for that project out of that $9.6 million. It was 1.96 million, and now it's 1.73. So our portion reduced about $230,000, and that's just a ballpark because I don't have an itemized bid tab, and there's some components of that job that we're paying for, some water and sewer, and I don't know where those dollars came in, but we're estimating about 230 reduction for us. So just to break down, just to go through that again, that was a lot of grant funding. That was 46% CMAQ, 26% STP, which is transportation money, 9% the state is going to put in for their portion of 31, and then we're wound up with about 18%. Huntley Road, our estimate was about $9 million. The bid came in at 7.83, and the contractor was Plody again, and that's really going to help us out with the maintenance of traffic and staging, and when we don't have to deal with two contractors going back and forth with certain stuff, so that'll be a lot easier for everybody. That project is with West Dundee through an IGA. They're the lead agency on that. So the shared anticipated, again, that was $9 million. The bids came in at 7.83. That's a shared cost with West Dundee at 2.8 million, and then we have half of that. But it's actually going to be 2.34 million, and half of that would be 1.17. And I can email this to you if you guys want. I know I'm tossing a lot of numbers, but I'm a chicken scratch. I can send it to you. So that's a reduction of around $240,000 for that one. And the breakdown on that is 70% STP, transportation funds to the feds, 50% West Dundee, and then 15% Village of Carpentersville. So they both came in really good. We're excited. Prices have been really good with underground work and road work, and the tollway not having a lot of work this year helps out a lot. So it usually takes about 2 months for the state to execute contracts, so I don't think we'll hear anything back on a pre-con and get contracts for about 2 months. The state will set up the pre-con. We'll get invited to that. We'll have more information at that time as far as what they want to stage, what they want to do. In the meantime, before that happens, a couple things are going on behind the scenes. As we staff worked out with utility companies. One of them was the undergrounding with ComEd at Main and Lincoln. We have a pre-con with them this Friday, and they anticipate being on site Monday, Tuesday, or something like that to start that work. And also we're setting up a couple of public meetings for these projects. We're looking at May 30th for the Huntley Road project and May 31st for the Huntley 31 project. Both will be at Public Works. Both will be around 7 p.m. It'll be an open house type of a thing. People can come in, meet the village staff, the consulting engineer that'll be doing the Phase 3 work. It'll be B&W for Huntley Road and HR Green for 31 Huntley. Meet the inspector out there, look at some presentations as to what the road's going to look like. We'll have a set of plans there because a lot of people are want to see how it's going to impact their property, so we'll be prepared to answer those questions. That'll be at Public Works, 30th and 31st. We'll do a sign out there, the variable message board, put on the website. We'll get door hangers out and things like that. That concludes my update. If there's any questions?
Can you remind us again, Huntley Road, from where to where?
Huntley Road is from Sleepy Hollow to Elm, and it includes Elm, new signals at Elm. And then 31 Huntley project is from Elm down the hill to east of Lincoln, and it includes intersection improvements at Lincoln, turn lanes, widening, and then new widening, dual turn lanes, new signals at 31 and Huntley, and then some upgrades at Spruce and 31. And we have photos and presentations on the website still if you ever want to look at what it's going to look like. They have aerials and whatnot still up there. But please attend the 30th and 31st. I'll get you that email. I'll send out an email with all that information too when we have the meeting. So.
Ed, have you dealt with Plody before?
They did Ball Avenue for us. Before that, it's been probably 10 years since I worked with them, but never really had an issue with them. They know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, yeah. Good.
We're very happy that they got it. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Anything? No other?
President Skillman, it's been brought to my attention that item D on the consent agenda, there is an intention by Trustee O'Sullivan at this point to ask the board to reconsider and pull that from the consent agenda. Is
Okay.
that the motion you'd like to make, Trustee?
I'd like to make a motion
O'Sullivan?
that be considered separately, and I'd like to recuse myself from that vote rather than the rest of the items. So I guess I'm voting aye for everything in the consent agenda, but D, I ask that be considered separately.
Could we just make a motion to do that separately so that we could take a separate vote on that?
That's
Would that be-
exactly, right, so we're going to do a motion to reconsider the vote on item D off the consent agenda, and then that, with a second, it'll open it up for discussion, at which point we can,
Is Trustee O'Sullivan going to make the motion to reconsider? I will.
Okay.
Motion to reconsider the consent agenda?
Second?
and specifically item D. Okay, so it's been motioned and seconded, so there would, this is just to basically reconsider it on the agenda. So discussion would be appropriate if anybody had discussion.
Any discussion?
No discussion?
All right, and this is basically, at this point, Trustee O'Sullivan, because it's going to be voted again for the reconsideration, if you were planning to,
Yeah, I am planning to recuse myself from the vote on this, so.
okay, so at this point, if you wanted
Yeah.
to step out of the room.
Okay. Yeah, I did. There's no further discussion? Any discussion,
No.
questions?
Do you want to redo the consent agenda and without item D? And then is that what you're looking for? Or you just
Or do
want?
you want to do the whole thing with just the four of us?
The consent vote can stand. We only pulled the item D for the reconsideration,
Okay.
so we just, at this point, we would just need to vote on.
Item D?
On item D.
I motion to approve item D on the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve item D on the consent agenda. Roll call, please.
Trustee Humper?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee O'Sullivan's recused. Trustee Frost?
Yes.
And Trustee Vela?
Yes.
I don't need to vote on that.
I'll go get Trustee.
Okay.
Motion carries. All right, we can move on. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, next item. We're done with reports of the managers and staff, correct? We have no old business at this time.
None.
New business. All right, so he's going to recuse himself for this time.
I believe so.
Once again,
Yeah. So new item, approval of a resolution to induce the redevelopment of certain property within a TIF district. So I need a motion.
I'll motion to pass this.
Okay, we have a motion for trustee Humphert.
I'll second that.
but this time I'd like to recuse myself from the consideration on this one as well.
Okay.
We'll tell you when the music stops.
All right, we have a motion and a second. So roll call, please.
Could we just briefly chat about it before we take our vote? Would that be okay, since we've got the first and second?
Yeah, definitely.
Brad, I really appreciate your write-up that you sent out regarding this item, and I would just add one thing to it. Part of the reason why, and maybe to take a step back, we have a banquet hall that someone's interested within our TIF district of doing on Washington Street, where the old Milk Specialties building was. So we're pretty excited about all that happening. And the company or the person and investment group that came to us and discussed it with us want to get the clock starting for potentially TIF eligible expenses. So by doing this, we're kind of starting that process, even though we haven't made a firm commitment through a redevelopment agreement to give them money from the TIF. So that's why we're doing this particular inducement.
Yes.
I think that's a good description.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, yeah, we've met with, the business developer in our business development meeting, and we had a great discussion with him. He's excited to get started on it, so we're going to try to help him as much as we can. This is the first part, so we're good?
If there's any other discussion?
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Frost.
Yes.
Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Humper.
Yes.
And Trustee Lawrence.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Then there's no firm commitment either, so like Trustee Humper said, if we don't agree on this, then there's no TIF money to be spent, so.
On to trustee reports.
Yes, ma'am. Trustee Lawrence, why don't you go first tonight?
I do not have anything.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Oh, great.
I won't keep you here till 10 p.m.
Trustee Frost?
I sat in on a community development committee meeting, and kudos to them for their work that they're doing, and also the audit and finance. That was the first time I sat in on audit and finance, and went well. And now that spring's here and the sun's out, it's great. Parks are all getting used, and see a lot of activity out there, so
It's supposed to snow Saturday.
disregard that.
Just kidding.
That's it.
All right, thank you, Trustee Neville.
I would like to invite all the residents and the board. We're having a Cinco de Mayo event, our first Cinco de Mayo event at Carpentersville Park. It will be starting Friday, and so it's going to run from the 4th to the 6th, and we're very excited to have this. We will have entertainment and food and a lot of fun, so you're more than welcome to join us.
Looking forward to it.
Be there.
Very exciting.
What time on Friday?
We will begin, I believe we have a schedule from 8 in the morning till, on Friday it's from 4, and then Saturday we begin at 10 in the morning and it goes on to 8. So it's Friday, it's 4 to 8 p.m.
I was supposed to do a family picnic Saturday. I'm moving it to Carpenter's Park.
Oh, there you go. Good call there.
Awesome, thank you.
Margaritas, all right.
Good job on the banners, too.
Thank you, Mr. Cole.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. See, really, we had a Business Development Commission meeting last week, and we've already discussed most of it here with the inducement. So that took up the majority of our meeting. I did have a brief meeting with business districts regarding the logo for the village. So I think you guys will be seeing that. Some of the other commissions that they're visiting this week will see that. I'm really interested in your feedback. It's pretty exciting stuff, so please let us know how you feel. So other than that, attended the Audit and Finance Commission meeting and was really happy. Things seem to be humming along very well in the finance department. Kudos to them. Another one of the big things you do with an audit is sometimes you have these adjusting journal entries, and it's always a little embarrassing when the auditors come in and do it for you. We have that all in place. We know where to make the adjustments, and we've done that for several years right now. So things are clicking along in the right direction there, and I think that I wanted to mention that as being a positive. So, thanks.
Thank
That's all
you.
I have.
Trustee O'Sullivan.
Just looking forward to the Carpentersville Fire Department Awards recognition ceremony tomorrow night. That ought to be something to see. Some 20 and 15 and 10-year service recognition awards. That's terrific. And that's all I have.
That was on my list too. Thank you.
Sorry to steal your thunder there.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So the Cinco de Mayo, obviously, yes, is a big deal for us this weekend. We're co-sponsoring the villages, so we're excited to help them. The promoter actually called me today, Jose Ocampo, and
yes.
he would love to have all of us there and come up on the stage and say a few words. If you guys all, if we're there separately, that's fine. Just find him and. If you
Bob,
like to
what's the load rating of that stage before we all get up on there?
Good answer.
Thank you. John, you can recuse yourself from that.
I have to recuse myself from that stage, Bob.
The whole weekend, right? Can you handle that, attorney? Okay, so thanks, John, for that. So yeah, we're excited about that. The fire department tomorrow night. We also have a zoning meeting tomorrow night.
Yeah, to talk about the rebranding too.
About rebranding. They're coming in tomorrow at the school, Dundee Crown. Also, they're going to be there talking to several of the students, student council, whoever they can get. They have it all set up, though, I believe, right?
Yes, sir. It's all set. We confirmed today.
So we're good to go. We're making headway on that. So it's great news. So the last thing is they wanted me to say is next Friday night is the Dundee Crown and Jacobs. The old timers are coming back to play. So it's going to be a great time.
The smell of liniment in the air.
All coaches and basketball, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. So how many ambulance calls we get there.
And what are they doing? Playing chess or checkers or basketball? Oh my God!
Yeah, what school, John?
At Dundee Crown. Dundee Crown in the next a week from Friday. So I think that's it. We have. Hey, thanks. Yeah, that's for you, I guess. We have no closed session tonight.
It's melted.
And I think I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion by trustee Lawrence, second by trustee Frost.
Voice vote?
Voice vote, he says, please.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're good to go.